Hey everyone, in the last video we talked about the oscillator section and how to generate sounds. Now we can use the filter to shape and color those sounds. Filter's located here. It's got 3 controls we'll go through individually. But first, let's get on the same page about how filters work. They essentially strip out harmonics above or below a certain frequency determined by this knob, the cutoff. If we set the filter to low pass, then only frequencies below this cutoff point will pass through. And if we set it to high pass, then only frequencies above this cutoff point will pass through. All filters are different, and if you get into modular, you can see that there's a ton out there, and they all have their own different color. And there's a lot of people out there who say that filters have more of an impact on the sound of a synth than the oscillators do. The Moog filter in particular is renowned for its richness and fat character, and it's called a ladder filter. It was named this after the shape of its circuit. Most of the time when I'm using the Mother, I set it to low pass. I would speculate that this is used much more often than high pass. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. That's my general impression anyway. I typically will start patches in low pass mode. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely some uses for high pass filtering. High pass is very useful for bright sounds to cut through a mix, or removing the bass frequencies to get a thinner sound. It's also used a lot for sound effects or percussion sounds. But for that classic synth sound, low pass mode is generally what you want to go for. It's also important to remember that since these filters are taking out harmonics, they're going to impact the different waveforms differently. A pulse wave is going to sound different when we sweep the cutoff than a saw wave. So let's just do some listening for a second. I'm going to turn down my VCF mod amount so that we can control the filter all by ourselves. And I'm going to turn the sustain on so that the sound will come through. Now here's a pulse wave. So that's in low pass mode. Now notice how when we turn it down all the way, no sound comes through. Let's give a listen to high pass mode. Now notice since it's in high pass mode, if we turn it up all the way, no sound's going to come through. Or very little sound will come through. Only the very upper ranges cut through, and it sounds very thin. So the second main control of the filter is resonance. It's used to feed the filter an output signal back into its input, and it creates a peak at the frequency response. This can be used to emphasize the harmonics in a sound source by sweeping the cutoff frequency. You can actually, if you listen closer, you can hear the individual harmonics. And that's because it's emphasizing each specific harmonic of whatever note you're playing. So it almost sounds like it's stepped. Even though I'm sweeping slowly, I'm making it a smooth movement, but it sounds almost like you're playing up different notes. Let's listen one more time. One thing also to note about the Moog filters is that since there's a little spike when you turn up the resonance, in order to make sure that your sound doesn't clip, the filter lowers the volume of all the other frequencies. So as a result, you're going to lose a little bit of the bass response. So it's just something to keep in mind that if you're playing with lower tones and you want that lower end to come out, you might want to turn your resonance down all the way. So just like the oscillator section, there's a few hardwired modulations for the filter, and that's located here. So there's these 3 controls for the oscillators, these 3 controls for the filter. And in the same way, the first switch selects what the source is, where the modulation is coming from. This voltage controlled filter modulation amount controls how much this is being modulated. Now, unlike the oscillator, which you could choose to modulate pulse width or the frequency, this one only modulates the cutoff. You do have the option of changing the polarity of the source. In the next video, I'm going to get more into what the LFOs and envelopes look like and some fun things you can do with them. For right now, I just want to show you how these knobs interact with this knob. So if we look at a basic LFO, which is the easiest to sort of hear, it's going up and down at this rate. We have a triangle, so there's a smooth voltage that's kind of moving up and down. As we turn this up, it's going to be the same thing as moving this knob up and down at the same rate as this. And as we turn it up even more, it will sweep even faster and further. Let's listen with our sequence. So this is with nothing. Notice how the cutoff is moving at this rate, but not very much. It's probably moving, it would be the same as... That's probably about right there. If we turn it up quite a bit, now that's sweeping so much that it's going almost all the way down. So this acts as an attenuator for whatever modulation's coming in from this source to the cutoff. Now our envelope is controlled right here, and what that's going to do is create like a spike of voltage whenever a note is pressed. So notice here my cutoff is all the way down, and if we have this down, you don't hear any sound. But as we turn it up, so what's happening is every time you push a note, it goes up this much at this rate. Notice how my attack is super fast, so it goes up really fast. The cutoff goes up really fast. And then it goes down back to where the level is set at this rate, which is still pretty fast, not quite as fast as that. Let's set this for a much longer rate so you can hear it. Actually, I'm going to turn my sustain off. So that would be the same as if I were to turn this down and actually just use my hands to control it. See if we can get the same exact sound. Pretty close. I think setting to envelope is great for quick, funky sounds. Whereas in LFO, it sounds great if you want like sweeping motions. And they both change the sound in different ways. The next video is going to really dive into the modulation and show some fun things that you can do. We'll also take a look at the voltage as it goes through an oscilloscope. By that point, I feel like we will have covered all of the basics so we can dive into some more advanced usage. So I hope you like this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.